What's going on, everyone? So, Anna Cam's character in the upcoming Scream 7, we got some insight in, thanks from Anna herself, in which she relays that she is going to be not only Sidney's neighbor, but that they're friends, that they're besties, right? And thus, immediately, one of the first things that pops into your head is like, okay, does that mean she's the killer? Is she going to be Ghostface? Now, that's obviously a very real possibility. I personally, before I dive into this, right, I don't want to see that happen, right? At some point, it's like, all right, it starts getting a little carried away. It's like Sidney has got to be the worst judge of character ever at that point. If her like new best friend is after her, right? And Hallie from Scream 2 was supposed to be the original killer, right? Like, it's just like, how many of her friends, brothers, cousins, nephews, uncles want her dead, right? Like, she now makes a new friend and that person wants her. I'd rather them not go that route. I'd rather them go her being, a red herring or just Ghostface fodder, or she could survive, whatever, however you want to go about it, right? Have her and her kid be a red herring and just a little off and a little weird. And we're all like, okay, it's got to be her, right? It's her and her weird kid type thing, right? Like, if you want to do that, perfect, beautiful, sign me up, right? But to make her the killer, I think it's a little ridiculous. I also think, depending on the timeline, right, it might be a little ridiculous, right? Like, how long has she been living there, right? Like, if Anna's character has been there for like 10 years and they've been like living in this town together for the last 10 years, it'd be a little silly, I think, in my opinion, to like now all of a sudden she wants to kill her, right? Like, so what? It took you 8 years to go, I think now's the actual time, right? 10 years to now go, like, why didn't you do it year 5? Why didn't you do it year 7, right? Like, it took you 10 years to muster the courage to finally take on Sidney, right? Like, I just think that's silly. Could make the argument that maybe that, like, they didn't know it was Sidney, which, again, she was like a celebrity. She did like a book tour and all that stuff. I think that, like, people would know that, but, maybe not, right? Like, at the end of the day, I just think it'd be a little tough. Now, if she's only been there for whatever, 6 months, a year, then I think you can make a little more sense. But again, like, then it's like, okay, how close are they? Right? Like, are they just neighborly? Right? Based on what the word is that, like, they're best friends. And if they're really best friends, right? Like, usually your best friend isn't like you've known them for a week, right? Like, if I call somebody my best friend, I've known them for years. Like, I have a former neighbor. We've moved, since then, but he's still one of my best friends. But I've known him for years, like literally years, right? It wasn't something where, like, a week into it, I was like, oh, hey, my best friend. Like, no, it was like, and I'm sure it was the same for him, right? But now we've, built that rapport, built that relationship, built that friendship to where it's like, yeah, like, and he was a neighbor, right? But before that, we were just kind of neighborly, just kind of like a, hey, hey type thing. And then, hey turns into like communications, which turns into like, hey, we should hang out sometime, which turns into like, oh, hey, like, we're best friends, right? Like, but it's a process, right? So if Anna Camp's character's only been living there for whatever, a month, even like 6 months, right? Even a year, it's kind of like they're best friends, right? But if it's something where they've been together for, a couple years, but then it's also like kind of like, what's the fine line, right? Obviously, I think it would depend on like the master plan, right? Like, if she is, part of the cult or whatever, maybe she was there to just kind of infiltrate, right? Get close to Sidney, build up that rapport over the years, basically remove and absolve all doubt that she could ever be the killer. Right? Like, because most of these Ghostface kind of go into it gun ho, right? Like, they kind of just like, hey, we're just going to kind of kick the door in and go type thing, right? Where, like Billy and Stu, even, at least they kind of like prepared and mapped it out and stuff. But even then, right? Like, there's still like, yeah, these killers have a plan and devise plans in their heads and, kind of map out what they want to do. But it usually seems to be pretty like, all right, we're going to do it. Let's go. Right. Where I think it would make sense to kind of have a killers, or, a cult or whatever that would really want to map it out, right? Like, where did all the other killers fail? Right? They jumped into this too quickly, right? Well, we can use you. You get there, move in, happy neighbor, right? Build that relationship, build that rapport, or besties type thing, and then essentially absolve yourself of any doubt that you would be the killer, right? Like Ghostface pops up, like why would I be? I've known you for 5 years, right? That could be kind of the route that they go. She talked about how it's going to be shocking, right? Brutal, right? All of the things that we keep hearing over and over again. So, I do think that kind of could lead to like, hey, like she said when she read the script, her jaw dropped. So, that could have been because she saw like, oh, I'm the killer type thing. So maybe that was, you could argue, may have been the clue that she's the killer, but like, just to read what she said, right? So Anna Camp says in a Scream 7 recent interview, all I can say is that it's one of the most jaw-dropping, surprising, and literally bloody screams you're going to see. When I read the script, my jaw was on the floor times a million, right? Now, again, you could interpret that literally a million different ways, right? There's a million different potentials and outcomes on, what that meant. One of those could be that she read she was the killer and she knows she's the killer. And, but Scream also, particularly the last like few Screams, have done the thing where they, have multiple killers and they film, the different things. That way they could switch and change things on a fly where they need to be and if they need to be. So maybe that's kind of this thing, right? Maybe she thinks she's going to be the killer and then ultimately won't be the killer in case she spoils anything, right? Like, so there's a lot of approach. Like, again, execution, good storytelling, good writing, good delivery, good acting, all of those things obviously can change a lot. It can really kind of, even a bad idea make seem good, right? So I don't want to just like immediately dismiss and write it off, but do have my concerns, right? I do have some kind of like, I don't personally want Sidney's friend again to be Ghostface, again to be the killer. It's like, all right, we've seen this, right? Like, can we not go that route? Can we not make the boyfriend or the best friend or the, boyfriend, best friend be the killer again, right? Like, I'd rather it just be, Sidney's kind of just involved type thing for whatever reason. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How you feel? What are your thoughts? Agree with me? Disagree with me? Kind of mixed in the middle? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are. Either way, I would love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel. What are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.